Hello and welcome. You are here for 3 steps to stop hiding and start booking clients. You are in the right place if you are a service based entrepreneur, a service provider, and you are tired of being invisible. You are struggling trying to figure out how to crack the social media code. Maybe you're not sure what to post. Maybe you're unclear about your offers. You are in the right place, my friend. Hi, I'm Kemia Scott, also known as Miss Kemia Online, and today we are going to talk about a 3-step framework that you can use so that you can stop being invisible, stop hemming and hawing about what to post on social media, stop looking at a blank cursor, trying to figure out, is anybody going to listen to what I have to say? Stop being embarrassed about your point of view. You are in the right place if you are struggling with any of these things. Now, feel free to drop a comment in the chat. Let me know you're here because I will be taking questions as we go along. Okay, so again, I'll be taking questions as we go along. So if you have anything that you wanted to ask, feel free to drop it in the chat. If you just want to say hello, I'm fine with that too. Okay, so with that said, I'll give you a few housekeeping rules. This is going to be interactive. Okay, this is definitely interactive. Drop your questions as we go, and then I'll answer what I can during the session. And then if I can't answer it during the session because it's going to break my train of thought and we have time at the end, I am happy to answer questions. And of course, stick around till the end because I'm going to share how you can get personalized help. First things first, if you are not familiar with me or any of my trainings, make sure you have something to write with or make sure you have something to take notes with. I am not the type of entrepreneur when I speak that you can multitask and go do and cook. No, you paying attention. So I will give you a second, get paper and pen, notebook, or open a Google Doc if you need to so that you can take notes. Because once we start, I'm rocking and rolling, okay? And let me bring up my slides. All righty. So here's the thing. Again, 3 steps to stop hiding and start booking clients. Okay, that's what we are focusing on. My screen just started doing something really weird, and I am trying to. What's keeping you from consistently showing up with social media? I am really curious about what that might be. So drop your answer in the chat. You know, there's no judgment here. Do you have a fear of judgment where you don't know what people might say? Are you unclear on your offer? Is it something else? So let me know what's keeping you from showing up consistently on social media. It could also be that you can't figure out how much time to spend, or you don't have the time. You think you don't have the time. Is it that you don't know what platform to be on? So I'm really curious as to what may be the reason why you're actually inconsistent on social media, because that will help me kind of tailor some things if I know why you're not showing up in the first place. Okay, so think about that. And if you need to, just jot that down, because as we go along, you're going to get epiphanies and ahas. Okay, so I really want you to make the most of this experience and maximize our time together. Is it that you don't want to sound salesy? Is it that you think nobody might care? Is it that your content is always kind of generic and you're not really sure if it's doing anything? So think about that. Let me know why you are not consistently showing up on social media. Here's the thing. I'm going to presume you're a talented service provider. I'm going to presume that without knowing who you are. Okay. But the challenge, the challenge is people in your industry are posting and they're engaging and they are getting the clients because you're simply invisible. And so you might be wondering what they have and what you don't. But it's not about being an extrovert versus an introvert. It's not that. It's not even necessarily confidence. It's not about having a bigger following. It's about having specific things in place so that you actually know what to say. So I'm going to tell you the 3 things you need to have in place that a lot of service providers, they have 1 or 2, or they skip over all 3. So the reality, you're good at what you do. That part, I'm pretty confident that you're good at what you do, but your expertise is going unnoticed and the competitors are booking your clients. Raise a hand if that feels familiar. Drop a comment if that feels familiar. You see your competitors booking your clients and you're like, I'm smarter than them. Why are they booking clients? I'm not booking clients, right? I know you've had that thought because I've had that thought myself. So here's my promise to you today. Today, this is what I want you to walk away with. You're going to walk away with my exact 3-step system to go from hiding, being invisible, to being fully booked, okay? And you're going to get the confidence to post without second guessing, okay? We don't want that. You need clarity on what to say, who to say it to, and how to say it. Hello, my friend. And you need a roadmap to visibility that actually converts. It's not just about the visibility and the consistency you hear so many gurus talking about. And we're going to do all this. There'll be no complicated funnels, no spending hours creating content, no living on social media all day. Just 3 clear shifts, 3 that will make everything easier. Okay, so by the end of this training, you're going to know why you've been stuck and what's actually holding you back. You're also going to know the exact order to fix things so you stop spinning your wheels running on a hamster wheel. I know you know what I'm talking about. I've been there. And finally, you're going to understand how to show up consistently without the fear or confusion. And if you want help implementing this, of course, I'll share how we can work together at the end. So again, hope you got your paper and pen ready because we are talking step 1, from fear to clarity. Stop overthinking. Stop overthinking. Eliminate the word overwhelm for your vocabulary, if only for the next 55 minutes or so, okay? All right, so let me ask you something. When's the last time you had a great conversation with a potential client? Maybe it was in person or maybe it was in the DMs, and afterwards you thought, oh, that went really well, right? Okay, then when's the last time you felt that confident posting on social media? Exactly. So many people aren't that confident on posting on social media because most service providers are hiding because they're afraid of saying the wrong thing. They're afraid of imposter syndrome. They're afraid of what if I misspell something? So you second guess yourself. You delete the post before you even hit publish. How many times have you written a post and you start backspacing? Oh, I'll delete it and I'll get to it later, and it never happens. Here's what's actually happening. It's not that you're afraid to post. You're afraid of being seen without knowing that what you say matters. I'm going to say that again. You're not afraid to post because posting is a technical thing. That's not what you're scared of. You're scared of being seen without knowing if what you're saying matters to anyone. That's the issue, right? That's the issue. And so here's what the fix is. The fix is not a class on confidence. The fix is not shift your mindset. No, that's not the fix. The fix is clarity. You need clarity about what you're offering. When you know exactly what your people need to hear, when you know exactly how your offer supports and provides service for them, impacts them, posting becomes easy because you have the clarity. You're not guessing. You're not hoping something is going to land. You know it will. You know it's going to land. So how do you get to that clarity? So again, shifting. What if nobody cares? We're shifting to my message matters to the right people, your people. That's the thought that you have to keep in mind. Okay. So this is fun because these are questions that will kill the fear. Okay, you got to kill the fear. Once you kill the fear and you gain that clarity, life gets a lot simpler on social media. So you need to answer 3 questions. This is the framework for step 1. Answer 3 questions. What problem keeps your client up at night? Now, I know a lot of times people train and they ask you, okay, what keeps your ideal client up at night? And you're like, well, I don't know. Here's the way to think about it. It's not about surface level stuff. It's deep frustration. When I say what keeps your client up at night, think about what's the thing that they complain about to their friends in a group chat or when they're out for brunch. What's the thing they're complaining about? That's the thing that keeps them up at night. Okay. The second question to answer, what do you think they think is the solution? So what's your ideal client? What do they think the solution to their problem is? Because so many people are trying to solve their problem the wrong way. They're thinking about it all wrong. So what are they doing that is not working? Write that down. So first, what problem keeps them up at night? Second, what do they think the solution is? And then finally, the third question, what's the real solution they haven't figured out yet or they don't see yet? This is where you come in. This is your expertise. This is what you help them to understand. And when you can answer those three questions, you'll never run out of things to say. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you're a business coach for solopreneurs, right? And you know your clients have a problem. They're working 60 hours a week, still not making enough money. Okay, that's fair, pretty common, right? Working 60 hours a week, not making enough money. So what they think is, I just need to work harder and go to more networking events. I need to do more posting on social media to find better clients or to find better clients, okay? The real solution is not working more, because if they're already working 60 hours a week, they don't have more time to work. What's the solution? They need systems and they need boundaries in their business so that they can stop trading time for money, right? They need systems. They need systems to engage their audience and follow up, whether it's DMs, emails, texts, or otherwise, so that they're not working 60 hours a week. They're not letting things fall through the cracks and they're ultimately making money, right? So if that were your case, now you have content because you know the problem. You know what they're doing to try to solve the problem. And you recognize that your solution is going to make their lives so much easier. So now you've got content, you've got talking points, you've got a message that makes people say, wait a minute, are you reading my mind? Have you ever read a post and you're like, hey, get out of my head, crazy. You reading my mind? That's how you get the, wait, are you reading my mind? So this action step, for step one, here's what I want you to do. Grab your pen and paper, open a notebook, or open a note on your phone and write down. You're going to write down three things. Write down the number one problem your ideal client is facing, what they're currently doing to try to fix it, and what they should be doing instead. And I'm literally going to give you a moment to jot that down right now. Why? Because I don't want you to, oh, I'll do it later and miss the whole point of the training. The whole point is for you to walk away different than you came. Okay, so I'm going to give you a minute. Again, write down the number one problem your ideal client is facing, what they're currently doing to try to fix it, and what they should be doing instead. And that, my friend, will be your content gold mine. So take 60 seconds and write that down. Okie dokie. You got your content gold mine now. You wrote down the number one problem your ideal client is facing, what they're currently doing to try to fix it, and how, and what they should be doing, and how you can solve the problem. So you got some notes working, okay? Now we're going to move on to step number 2. Crystal clear about your offer. I I can't tell you how many times I talk to someone and they're not actually clear about their offer. That's why I'm including it. Okay. So the problem is now you know what to say, but here's where most people mess up. They post about everything. One day they're posting about mindset. The next day it's a client win. The next day it's a motivational quote. Then they have a random life update. And then finally they mention something about what they do. And they're posting like it's 2018 and we're doing those themed content buckets. The landscape on social media has drastically shifted. So if there was a time that you were doing this or you learned this, can't do this anymore. It's all about the clarity in your offer. That's why your audience is confused. And what is the cliche? A confused mind does not buy. That's actually true. Okay. So if your audience has to figure out what you actually do and they don't know how you can help them, guess what happens? You know what happens? They're not going to buy because they don't know what to buy. Okay. We're eliminating this. So this is the shift in step 2. From confusion to offer clarity, you need a North Star, okay? A North Star. You need one clear offer that everything you post points back to. Not 10 services, not I do a little bit of this, I do a little bit of that. I can help you, I can help you, I can help you. Nope, stop being crazy and confusing. Clarity, focus, one transformation, one result. One reason someone should work with you. So that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. So here's your framework. Your offer. Here's what it should answer. Okay. Your offer should answer, who is this for? What's the outcome? And why now? Why do I need to buy this right now? Again, your offer should answer, who is this for? What's the outcome? And why should I buy this right now? Why now? So the who is this for? Be uber specific. For example, if you serve busy moms, that's not enough. You know how many every mom is busy. Busy moms is not specificity. You know what is specificity? A mom with kids under 5 who want to start a side business, but they don't know where to begin. That's very specific, right? Because I'm in the busy moms category. I don't have kids under 5, right? So be specific in your who is this for? Another example, and what's the outcome? Not the process, not your 28 steps. Nobody cares about the process right now. They only care about the result you can give them. So if I say you'll get a social media strategy, that's a process. And you'd never hear me say that because, yeah, okay, what does that mean? But if I say you'll book 3 clients in 60 days using organic social media when you work with me, well, hell, I got your attention, didn't I? Of course I did. So that's specific. That's the result. That's the tangible result, not my process. So why now? What's the cost of waiting? What happens if they don't solve this problem right now? So if you have a problem, how much pain are you in? Do you need to solve this problem right now and you are actively looking for solutions? So why now? What's the cost of waiting? The cost of waiting, if you are, let's go back to that business coach. The cost of waiting could be your business shuts down. Could be you don't have enough clients to pay your light bill. Okay. So I'll give you another example of clear and unclear. So I won't say a bad offer, but an unclear offer. I help entrepreneurs grow their business. Anybody who's watching this training can say that. I guarantee if you're a business owner, you ultimately help business owners grow their business in some capacity if you serve entrepreneurs, right? In some capacity. Here's a much better way to say I help entrepreneurs grow their business. Here's a much better offer. I help solopreneurs build 10K months without working weekends so they can finally take a real vacation without their laptop. You are speaking to a very specific entrepreneur who's tired of working weekends, who takes vacations and family trips and always has their laptop because they're constantly working, right? Can you see the difference? I hope you can see the difference. The second one is so specific. It's emotional and he makes someone say, hey, hello, that's exactly what I need. You're talking to me. Why does this matter so much for your content? When you have offer clarity, every single post becomes easier because you're not just posting for engagement. You are posting with a purpose. You're posting with a purpose, okay? Every story, every tip, every case study, every testimonial is leading people toward that one clear outcome. And that, my friend, is your North Star, okay? So your next action step, told you need pen and paper, is write out your offer using this formula. I help a specific person achieve a specific result without and their objections so they can benefit. What's the emotional benefit? And if you can't fill that in clearly, I'm going to give you, again, 60 seconds to do it right now. You are going to walk away with frameworks and notes. So after this training, you can immediately start implementing things. Your 60 seconds starts now. I help specific do what? That result so that they can, it's on the screen, just fill in the blanks. I'm going to give you a minute. Okay, we're back. I hope you wrote something down. If you want to drop it in the chat, you are more than welcome to. You want me to take a look at it? Again, you're more than welcome to drop it in the chat. And if you couldn't figure it out yet, no problem. Take a screenshot of this screen and work on it after the training. If you can't fill it in clearly, that's one of your pieces of homework, okay? Finally, we are on step 3. Yes, the clarity is that's really one of the keys to figuring out what to post on social media, figuring out what you're offering. So step 3 is get visible and guide them. And this is not a visibility pitch. It's not just visibility. You need to stop hiding and you need to start leading. Okay, so you know what to say. That was step 1. You got a clear offer. That was step 2, but you're still not getting clients. Why? Because you are doing that post and pray situation, post, cross your fingers, run away and hide. That's not how you get clients. You're putting content out there and hoping someone raises their hand. You assume people will DM you when they're ready. That is not how buying works. That hoping and wishing and praying will keep your calendar empty. People need to be led, they need to be guided, and they need to know what is next. So here's how you're going to tell them. This is your visibility roadmap. This is the shift. You need a customer journey. You need a clear path that takes someone from I don't know you to, ooh, I'm ready to buy. Where's that add to cart? Where's that buy button? And you need to make that path painstakingly obvious. I mean, obvious, so obvious that a 6-year-old can figure out how to take the path. Okay, so here's the framework. Here's the simple version. Awareness. They discover you. Your ideal client, they discover you maybe through a post, maybe through a referral, some comment you left somewhere. And your job is to show them that you understand their problem better than anybody else. And then step 2 is the consideration phase. So they're following you now. They looking, they watching, they peeking. They might even be lurking. They're seeing if you're legit, right? Bunch of scammers and people that don't know what they're talking about out here, but they look really good. So they're making sure you're legit. So your job during the consideration stage is to prove that you can help them, is to share results, share frameworks, share quick wins. And stage 3 is the decision-making stage. They are ready to move forward, but they need a little nudge, okay? They need that nudge. So your job in the decision stage is to make the next step crystal clear. Invite them to a call, to a training, Invite them to your program. Do not leave it up to chance. We are adults and we are busy. You leave something up to chance, I promise you it ain't happening. Think about your own life. How many times have you meant to do something and never got back to it, or got back to it 3 months later? Because life be life and we're adults, we're busy. Do not leave it up to chance. Here's the part most people get wrong. You see on your screen, it says 3, make your next step obvious. That is the bottleneck. That's the part most people get wrong. Even if you're posting great content and you're building trust and then crickets, there's no call to action. There's no invitation. There's no next step. Like I said, people are busy. Don't think that you on their mind 24 hours a day, because I promise you, you are not. If you don't tell them what to do, guess what they're going to do? Nothing. They're not going to do anything because they're not going to remember. And we do not want that to happen. So what do we need to do? And every piece of content with a soft call to action, CTA, okay? So for example, a CTA could be, do you want help with this? DM the word clarity and let's chat. If this resonates, drop a raise your hand emoji below. Another CTA, I'm opening up 3 spots for strategy calls this week. Link is in bio to grab yours. You're not being pushy. You're not being spammy. It's not even quote unquote salesy. The salesy is okay. You're supposed to make sales, but you're not being spammy. You're being helpful. You're reminding them to take the action so that they can get the help that they're looking for. Okay. So here's an action step. Write this down because you can't do it right now, but write this down. Your action step. Look at the last, pick a platform that you're active on and look at the last 5 posts that you did. The last 5 posts. And I want you to write down how many of them had a clear next step. These notes are only for you, so be honest. How many of those last 5 posts had a clear next step? If the answer is anything other than 4 or 5, start adding calls to action today. Today. You have to tell people what to do. You have to, okay? And so let's bring it all together. Let's tie a big, pretty bow around today's training, okay? Big, pretty bow. If you want to convert clients, you need the 3 things, right? Clarity on what to say. So you stop second guessing yourself. And you have a content goal in mind if you did the exercise from earlier. A clear offer that becomes your North Star for all your content, right? And you have a customer journey, a path that leads people to the next step instead of leaving it up to chance, hoping and wishing and praying that they know what to do. Those are the 3 things you need. Now I'm going to pause and ask, how many of you had all 3 of those things? I'm curious. You don't have to drop it in chat, but just think about it. Did you have all of those 3 things? Is this a summation of a lot of things that you've heard, but you didn't hear them in this order? You didn't hear them this simply? Because I literally just gave you a 3-step framework. And I hope you did the exercises and took them to heart, because you know what? These are not nice to haves. These are the essentials. And when you get them right, everything changes in your engagement and your calls and your calendar. Everything will change. You're posting with confidence. You're attracting the right people and you're booking clients without feeling like a sleazy salesperson, okay? So in the next 24 hours, use this framework. Post something your ideal client needs to hear and include that clear call to action and watch what happens. And I'll up the ante. Whenever you post it, tag me. Doesn't matter what platform you're on, if you're on Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook or even YouTube, tag me so I can see it. That next 24 hours, that's my challenge to you. Use what you just learned in the last 29 minutes and craft your next post with that one thing your ideal client needs to hear, that one thing that they're talking about with their friends in that group chat that's frustrating them. Have a clear call to action that tells them what to do, what's the next step, and watch what happens, okay? Now, here's the reality check. Knowing what to do and actually doing it, those are 2 different things, my friend. You can walk away from this masterclass with notes and ideas, But if you don't implement, nothing will change. Okay. I get it. You're busy. You got clients to serve. You don't have time to figure this out on your own. And that's exactly why I created the social media momentum method. It walks you through this process, except I'm your roadmap. I'm your guide. It's a 12-week coaching program. We build all three of these steps together. Okay. So you get crystal clear messaging that makes people stop scrolling. I go over that exercise with you about what keeps people up at night. And I help you go from that one bullet point to 5 or 6 messaging pillars and what to say under each messaging pillar, all centered around those conversations that your audience member, she or he's having with their best friends, their level of frustration. You're walking it through with me so that we can really drill down and hone that messaging. And you're going to have an offer so dialed in, you could pitch it in your sleep. Why? Because it's one offer. You're not scatterbrained all over the place. There's one clear offer that all of those pain points point to. And then you're going to have a simple content system that keeps you visible without burning out, without spending all day and night on social media, without spending your weekends on social media figuring out what to say. So by the end, you have a strategy that works, content that resonates, and clients are booking calls because they finally see themselves in your content. They finally understand what you do and how you can help them. If that sounds like what you need, got slots open right now. You can visit marketingsparkler.momentum.com/momentum. I'll drop the link in the chat right now. Drop that in the chat. And then if you are not sure that you need this, but this sounds good, and it sounds like something you need, but you want to have a conversation, which you should have a conversation. If it's something you need, book a call, complimentary call. Ask me questions, ask me whatever you want. But I can tell you, I'll give you a little bit of information right now. This is for you. The social media momentum method is for you. If you're a service-based business owner, social media should be working for you better than it is. You don't have in-house marketing staff or support. You're tired of figuring it out all alone. That's what I hear from most people. They're tired of sitting in a silo trying to figure this out and taking them courses that you can't ask the course creator anything. So you just floating in the wind trying to figure it out on your own. You're ready to stop posting randomly. You want to start following a strategy that actually converts. You want a system that works without requiring you to become a full-time content creator. That's not what you want to be. And you're in growth mode in your business and you need marketing to support that, not slow you down. This is not for you. If you're looking for a quick fix, magic bullet, sorry, I don't sell those. You're not willing to implement what we built together. If you don't implement it, you can't get the results. You want somebody to just do it for you instead of learning how to do it yourself. If you want somebody to just do it for you, I can do that. Completely different service. That's done for you service. Different conversation altogether. And you're not serious about using social media to grow your business. If you're not serious about using social media to grow your business, this is not for you. And it's totally fine, okay? So we are at the portion now where I want to ask, do you have any questions? If you have questions, drop them. Let me see. Do you have any questions? I'm more than happy to answer any questions you might have about the social media momentum method, about step 1, step 2, step 3, about what you're doing on social media that's not really working for you, about what platform you should be on, how you should approach this if you're new to social media or it really has taken a back seat. Any questions you may have about what we just talked about today, or social media, using social media as a marketing vehicle for your business, generally speaking. So I'll give you a minute to drop those questions in the chat. I actually did have a couple of people who couldn't make it, but they sent me in a couple of questions. I think I answered one of them. I'm going to flip through my notes real quick to make sure I answer their questions. And in the meantime, drop a question in the chat if you have it. Okay, this is a good one. Okay, so a question I got. Okay, yes, this actually fits into step 1. A question I had from Melissa was, how do I figure out what keeps my clients up at night? Does anybody else have that question? How do I figure out what keeps my clients up at night? If you don't, here's the answer. If you don't have an existing client base that you can ask, or you've had sales conversations and you hear certain things, here's what I want you to do. Mine social media to figure out what people are talking about. So this is one of those research hacks that a lot of people don't do. If you're not sure what's keeping people up at night, go find your competitors' profiles on any social media platform. So I'll use LinkedIn as an example. Go find your competitors on LinkedIn. Look at their posts, but more important, look at the comments they're getting. Which posts are getting the most comments? Are people asking questions in those comments, or those comments, oh yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking about? If that's the case, you're seeing the pain points. They're not written out as pain points, but you're seeing the pain points. What is resonating with your audience when your competitors are posting? That's an easy way to figure out what the pain points are. Another way you can do it is craft a post and simply ask, a post or a poll and ask. So if I was trying to figure out what people's pain points are around posting on social media, for example, if I was trying to market my social media management services, I might craft a post that talks about using a social media scheduler and figuring out the content to create. But then I might, as a call to action, I might say, I hear so many people are overwhelmed with posting on social media that they never do it. What's your number one reason why you don't post on social media? If people comment, those are the pain points, because people will comment that I don't know what to say. See, I know what the answers are because that's what I do currently, but they'll comment and say, I don't know what to say, or I'm not sure what to say. I've heard people tell me in DMs, I don't leave comments because I don't know how to comment. I actually just wrote a LinkedIn post as a response to a conversation I was having a couple of days ago about leaving a comment. So that's how you can mine social media for the data that you're looking for if you're not sure what those pain points are. But you got to know what's keeping people up at night. And that's an easy way to do it. Again, look at your competitors, look at what they're posting, and dig in those comments. That's where the real gold is laying in the comments. Okay, so let me see. Here's another question I have, and it is about the step 2, from confusion to offer clarity. Okay. So Roy, oh yeah, I was just talking to him yesterday. Okay, so he sent me a question and he's like, well, I can help so many people and I have so many offers. So I have to post about all of my offers. My response to him was, no, you don't. That I do a little bit of everything is talking to everybody, which means you're talking to nobody. So let's say you have 3 products. Let's say it's a small, medium, large, right? You have 3 products because most of us have multiple products, right? You don't have to post about all the things. I dare challenge you to figure out what you want to sell in the next 30 days. Pick the one product that you want to focus in and sell for the next 30 days. And that is what your content should be focused on for the next 30 days. So don't try to sell the coaching package and the course and the consulting offer and the ebook. Don't try to sell all of them this week. That's where the confusion and the cluster is coming from. There's no clarity in that. And as an audience member, I don't know what to do because they might all sound good. So what happens? Right? What happens? Pick one offer that you want to focus on the next 30 days, and all your content should revolve around that. Okay? Okay, great question. Along the same lines, how do you figure out the ideal customer? I'm gonna say something that, okay, I'm a marketer. We're friends, right? If you've heard me talk, I will say what you don't necessarily want to hear or what other marketers won't say. The only way to know is to experiment. Only way to know who your ideal customer is to experiment. You have to work with a variety of people to figure out who you like working with. So for example, let's say your product can help you. Let's say you're business to business and you're a service provider and your product can help any entrepreneur. Okay, but who do you like to work with? Who's in your network and who can you get to right now? Who do you like to work with? Who's in your current network, and who can you tap on the shoulder or message right now? Start with them. So yes, you might be able to offer services to everyone, but if you are in a networking group full of local businesses and you got some traction in there, start there. See if you like working with local brick and mortar businesses. If you are a female entrepreneur and you talk to a lot of moms and you hear their frustrations, you may have never worked with them. Pitch them. See if that's an ideal audience. The only way to find your ideal client is to experiment, work with different people, and figure out who you like to work with and who you don't like to work with. Because experimenting will give you that data. For me, for example, I've worked with tons of different people at different levels of business, different levels of revenue generation, and different levels of expertise when it comes to running a business. So I know who I like to work with and who I definitely do not like to work with. Those are not my people. So I know my people. I know who's not my people. It came from experimentation. So if you're newer with an offer or you're newer with your business, I say work with everybody. That's the only way you're going to figure it out. And then as you are refining your processes, refining your messaging, and working with more people, then you can figure out who you like to work with and who you don't like to work with. Again, this is if you can solve a lot of people's problems. You got to start narrowing down on something. But I say, again, who do you like to work with right now? Who's in your current network? And who can you get to right now? That's the person that you should start with. That's how you start identifying your ideal client. And then once you have clients, start writing down different characteristics about them, what they have in common. Are they at a certain stage in their business? Are they generating a certain amount of revenue? Do they have a certain number of clients? Do they have certain types of businesses? Are they running certain types of business? For example, I like working with nonfiction authors. Nonfiction authors is different than working with fiction authors. I work with both. I like working with nonfiction authors. The marketing is different than working with fiction authors. Again, I had to work with both to figure that out. I like working with coaches and consultants. I'm a coach and consultant myself. I recognize certain gaps. I know exactly how I can help them. I like working with businesses who have been in business for 2 or 3 years because they've gone through the pain. They've tried different things. So they understand what I do and what I bring to the table. A newer business does not understand what I bring to the table because they have not gone through the pain of marketing and gone through the pain of Google and random Facebook groups, which is why I don't typically work with businesses who are just starting, because they haven't figured out what they need yet. And so I have to be consultant, advisor. I got to do too many things if you're just starting out. So that's how I figured it out. So I challenge you to figure it out that way. Great questions, Dan. Thank you. I don't see any more questions. So again, if you are interested in social media momentum method, I dropped the sales link in the chat for sales info. If you want to book a call with me and find out if this coaching program is right for you, I dropped that link in the chat as well. I am more than happy to answer any questions or concerns you may have. And if you have any questions in the meantime, after you watch this training, please feel free to drop a comment in the chat while you're watching it. And I always respond to my comments. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have. Until next time, you have your 3-step framework. I hope you took your notes. If you didn't fill everything out, make sure you fill everything out. Feel free to tag me in your next post so that I can see what your post is and that call to action. And I want to celebrate you. If you have any additional questions or concerns, you're always free to visit me at marketingsparkly.com. I have over 700 articles all related to small business marketing. And of course, you can find me on X and LinkedIn and Pinterest and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok if you need me. Until next time, enjoy the rest of your day.